welcome to another Happy Pod, the only podcast in the world. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by Lawrence. He's a dickhead. Hello.
Hello. Nice and fluid and into it today.
Yeah, I can't be arsed, man. I'm tired.
I don't want to hear about tired this week. I'm tired.
Oh, fuck. Don't act like you're the only person who's ever been tired, all right? I need that like I need a fucking hole in the head right now, okay? So don't you dare.
I'm claiming it. I'm claiming the tired. I'm allowed to be the tired one this week.
Oh, because you're moving house. Grow up, all right? Who cares? No one cares. We've all moved house before, okay? We've all moved before.
Yeah, and so everyone knows how terrible it is. I'm having an awful week.
Okay. I cannot stress how little I care, okay? I have no sympathy for you whatsoever.
Why not?
Why should I? Oh, I'm moving to a better house. Oh.
I mean, it's tough. It's a hard moving process.
Shut up. No one cares. You get no sympathy from me.
Okay, fair enough. I feel like we couldn't be in more appropriate moods to talk about X-Men The Last Stand.
I've basically forgotten about this movie.
Don't say that.
No, I have. I watched it like Monday, okay, because we were due to record then, but it kept getting pushed back because of the aforementioned moving.
Yes.
So now here we are with the episode due out in just over 12 hours.
I'll get it done, but moving is a valid excuse. Everything's been everywhere, right? It's been a hectic week.
I never blamed you for anything. Stop getting defensive, okay? I never held it against you in any way, okay?
I'm examining your tone.
Examine anything all you want.
Yeah, we can steam through this because we're both tired boys today.
15-minute episode, everyone. Get ready. That's it.
X-Men The Last Stand, Nathan, directed by a different terrible man than the other two that were directed by a terrible man.
Yeah, who's this one directed by?
This is Brett Ratner. I believe he's less paedophilic, more just sexually inappropriate.
Oh, your kind of guy then.
Yeah?
Okay. It was weird.
I was doing a little joke.
Okay.
He's not my kind of guy.
Well,
right?
No, you said it now. Clearly he is. Clearly he's your best friend. Maybe he cares that you're moving.
No, I don't want him to.
He'll give you some sympathy.
I don't want his sympathy.
Well, there you go.
He can keep it.
No, Brett Ratner will give you all the sympathy you need.
Oh, dirty. I don't want it. General thoughts, Nathan. X-Men The Last Stand. If you can remember...
Ah, boring.
Yeah? Just boring?
It's my general thoughts. Just boring. Boring. Just a lot of nothing. Just a lot of recycled stuff. A lot of stuff I've seen done better. In X2, X-Men United, the superior movie of this franchise so far. And just stuff I don't care about. So, all in all, boring. There's some interesting stuff in here, but mostly boring.
There is interesting stuff in it, but they do this weird thing where they like go, let's spend zero time in the interesting stuff, and let's instead do loads of time on the stuff that no one cares about. Like,
what if we took two different comic storylines, that being the Phoenix Saga and The Cure, both of which ran for a very long time, and then just mushed them into one 2-hour movie? I reckon that's good enough. I reckon that's long enough to service both stories, don't you? Also, we'll change them both completely and make them fundamentally less interesting.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
One of my first notes just says, imagine making a Dark Phoenix story where Scott has less than 5 lines in the movie.
He's not in the movie. He's like shows up to be like, hey, Logan, stay away from my girl, even though she's dead now. And then he just dies himself.
Stop sniffing around my girl's corpse, Logan. All right, I've had it up to here with you at her grave. Yeah, it's dull. It's also a little tough to root for the X-Men in this one, I think, because the Brotherhood's mission is... I know they go about it in a bad way, but the Brotherhood's mission is primarily, hey, we don't want a genocide of our people, and the X-Men are like, stop.
Yeah, this is very like... This is very much like, how to describe this without getting cancelled? This is very much like a subsect of, like, for the sake of argument, let's just say a subsect of left-wing protesters, okay?
Yeah.
Instead of choosing to directly go against their rioters, they're protecting them instead, you know, in terms of what's been happening recently. They're like, hey, let's not hurt them because we're better than that. But anyway, we'll also protect and defend them and be their mates and everything else. And it's just, look, it's not a direct comparison. Like, no, I understand. But like, there are certain parts in this movie where it's just like, and Yeah, and you do find yourself being like, Magneto, you're right. As a villain, as a compelling villain should be, you know, as like you should sympathize and you know, they should be more complex than just bad because bad's sake, you know. But
it's just a little strange that like the motivations for both of them. There's one that seems fundamentally more aligned with the X-Men, which is don't genocide us. And then like that's the one that they're opposing. They're on the opposing viewpoint. They're not advocating for a genocide, but they're like, stop trying to kill the people that want to genocide them. I'm like, maybe just get involved and then make sure that Magneto doesn't kill them. Like that would be a better plan.
Yeah. Because Magneto, to be fair, he does want to kill them. He does want to wipe them all out. Okay, and that part of the plan, not necessarily like the most fundamentally correct or righteous part of the plan, or whatever you want to say. But just in terms of stopping his entire species being eradicated, keeping in mind, this is a man who lived through World War II and is a Holocaust survivor, okay? I think you can understand why he might be a little bit, you know, touchy-feely about not wanting to see his people being eradicated, you know?
Touchy-feely is the best way to describe Magneto.
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I think my biggest issue with it is that they don't have an opposing viewpoint. They're not like, Magneto, don't do that. Instead, handle it this way. They're just like, Magneto, don't.
Yeah.
And he's like, what, so do nothing then? All right, I guess we'll all die. Cheers, Charles. Cracking plan.
And so there's the cure. So they've developed a cure to being an X-Men, okay? And the cure is developed from this little boy who's a little mutant boy. And his mutant power is he can stop your mutant powers if you get within like 4 feet of him or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's very handy. And so they developed the cure from him, and then this cure, it supposedly, this doesn't turn out to be true, but for the movie's sake, for the time being anyway, it will completely eradicate the X gene and turn you into fully human, basically. And so but there is some really interesting stuff to be done with that. The problem is the movie like touches on it for like maybe about 2 or 3 scenes and then just goes, nah, just make it a weapon or something, you know? Because it's
they literally put it in a gun.
They literally put it in a gun, okay? Which you can do interesting stuff with that as well, but then it's just not used effectively after that point. And I think the whole thing is like, it gets so confused in its messaging because the interesting stuff it does touch upon is the stuff with Rogue, okay? Because you can see why Rogue, again, the character from this movie universe, not as a whole, but you can see why this version of Rogue would want the cure. You can see why this would be something that's tempting for her, okay? Because, you know, she's struggling, she's feeling isolated, she's not able to show her feelings and affection for the person she loves and all of this kind of stuff. And so you can see why she would be tempted. And then you have people like Storm being like, there's nothing wrong with you. There's not a cure, okay? Like, all right, you can make it rain, okay? Like, these are fundamentally different problems that you're facing, okay? And what about, like, children that, like, Mystique and Kurt and Wagner who don't fit into normal everyday looks and stuff, and who are, like, blue and green and little fucking alien creatures and stuff like that, you know? What about those people that will face fundamentally a lot more fucking hatred and abuse than you do, Storm, okay? What about those kids who are constantly like fucking whatever? And it's like, no, we're all the same. There's nothing wrong with you. Like, it's rich coming from you, okay?
Yeah.
Like, you know? But that's the thing. But it's not really explored any further than that, though, is it?
Yeah,
it's just very surface level. And then it's like, I'll go get it, blah, 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 blah. And then that's it.
It is very funny that like everyone that is like opposing being like, there's nothing wrong with us, and look, there's not for any of the characters, right? But like in terms of how they would see themselves and the insecurities they would have, it is very funny that the objectively coolest X-Men and people with the coolest powers
who like, can pass for normal people as well,
exactly, who
and
won't
live a
be
normal
like,
life,
who they won't be kind of like harassed on the street for it and stuff, the more this kind of right-wing just nonsense is spewed into the streets. But like it's funny how they're all just like, you guys need to have some pride in yourself. And it's like, it's fucking very easy for you to say that is.
Yeah. And that's my issue with it. And then again, it gets even more confused in its messaging because I will say one of the best parts of this movie is the fact that we have Beast played by Kelsey Grammer, who does an amazing job. I think it's a great look. I think Kelsey Grammer does a really fucking good job, actually, for once, really nailing the character of Beast, I would say. They do
probably
a really
the best
good job.
Characterizations in this movie.
Probably, yeah. But Beast is, and what's really interesting as well is he's working in the White House. He has a government position. He has a fucking cabinet seat. He's like Secretary of, I don't know, fucking something or whatever, Mutant Affairs or some shit, whatever the fuck they said. But like he's advising the president, and he is like in the fucking cabinet. And then he resigns that position when they make the fucking cure into a weapon and take Mystique's and take the voluntary sign up out of it and take Mystique's powers away from her. He resigns his position in protest because of that. But at the end of the movie, he's just like, oh, what if I just stabbed Eric with the cure? what if I just shoved this cure into Magneto? You know?
Like fucking 6 of them as well.
Yeah, exactly. One's enough, brother. But like, do you see what I'm saying though?
I hadn't considered that. That's brilliant.
Yeah. It's just like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know? Oh.
It's a shame because I like you say, it is interesting, right? Because he's a politician that is like, he's seeing the world how it is. Like, he's not blind to the fact that it's not a perfect world that mutants have to like coexist with humans in. But he's also like, he's walking around and he's being an optimist about it. He's like trying to do the right thing that the X-Men should be doing, which is like enforcing change through policy making and decision making and like, you know, buddying up to the president. And it's essentially being a representative and a spokesperson for a marginalized group, which is like, Hank's inclusion in this is really funny because it really shines a light on how fucking useless the X-Men are in this movie. Like, because like, what's Charles doing that like dead. Hank isn't doing 10 times better? Yeah, well, he is dead. Yeah.
He gets Professor X. He gets the ultimate Professor X.
He does. Death. But then he pulls a reverso Professor X. He's like, well, you thought you got me, but I'm now a different Professor X.
I don't understand that. Still don't understand that to this day.
There's a lot of theories, but the most important one that everyone needs to remember is that Fox wanted to bring the character back, so they made it possible. Like, that's the only theory that matters, is that Fox
But within
was
the same movie, though. Within the same movie. It's not like it was just something that changed later down the line. They just went, what if this didn't happen? And then they also did that to everything else in the movie, though, because they're like, what if the cure didn't actually work? You're like, oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm glad all the stakes are really prevalent here. Yeah.
Sick. Love
Actually,
that.
I want to talk about stakes, right? Because it is funny that Cyclops dies and no one gives a fuck in this movie.
No, yeah, it's true. Everyone, like, there's a moment of, like, you know, Logan and fucking Storm when they find him. They're like, oh, they find his Oakley's just floating about in the mist or whatever. And they're like, oh, so sad. Anyway, so...
But
Jean's here and she's got long hair now because it's been 2 years or whatever.
And it's really funny that, like, Scott dies and no one gives a fuck. And Charles dies and we get the movie slows down for a full 10 minutes to be like a somber funeral.
Yeah.
And it's like the funeral is very much like R.I.P. Charles, a great man. Scott too.
What's funny about that is Scott dies first, okay, and then Charles dies, and then they have the full funeral for Charles, okay, and after which we can see his gravestone, okay, and then at the end of the movie, we see that next to Charles's gravestone, there's now 2 more gravestones, one for Jean and one for Scott, and it's like, oh, they just forgot about Scott, but then went, oh fuck, we should probably do something about this. We should probably add him to the pile too, and then just. Great. Anyway.
And they're significantly smaller than Charles's gravestone as well.
He's not as important. They're not as important as Charles, so
yeah,
they don't get a bigger grave. Anyway, should we what do you think about some young Charles and Eric going to see a young Jean?
Right, so complex feelings on this because I also wrote a paper on it for my master's.
Did you?
I did. I had to talk about something that interested me in terms of visual effects. A section of my degree which I've never used and didn't understand even when I did it.
Okay. And you chose to write about Brett Ratner's X-Men The Last Stand.
No, I didn't. No, don't do this.
But your favourite director.
Fuck's sake. And the only man that cares about my move as well.
Exactly. Because I don't.
But I know you don't. No, I think it's... Look, by today's standards, it's pretty shoddy. Like, it looks very Uncanny Valley. I think
I've seen worse. I'll be honest with you.
I've seen worse, and I've seen worse way more recently.
Yeah.
Like, but what I respect about it is that the technology wasn't perfect, but it was kind of a milestone because it was one of the first things to prove the concept, and then other studios put more resources into it, and now I definitely think we've gone too far now with it, but this was interesting technology that has been expanded and developed upon because of this, really, because this kind of did a big swing. It does a big dramatic pan up, and it's like, look, a young Patrick Stewart.
Why do you think we've gone too far with it?
Well, like, you've got stuff like The Flash now that is like, that technology is fundamentally way more now associated with reviving dead actors rather than the aging current ones.
That's not something that should be done. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a gross practice, but like, unfortunately, we're always headed this way. Like, this movie is not to blame for that, and I think it's like you get like great stuff. Like some of the appearances in Rogue One mean a lot to quite a lot of people. Like, especially given the kind of timely nature of when it was used on Carrie Fisher and then Carrie Fisher's passing as well. Like, it's stuff like that is interesting, and I like that this movie doesn't shy away from it. It really goes, we're trying something. It doesn't look flawless, but look at this.
Do you reckon we'll see that guy from Casualty as Tarkin in Andor Season 2?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. It's possible, isn't it?
I don't think it is. Given what we know about how Andor is filmed and everything, I don't think that's possible, okay? I don't think fucking Tony Gilroy will be going anywhere near that with a 50-foot fucking pole, okay?
You never know. It's an expansive universe.
I'd be willing to bet quite a bit of money.
Yeah, it's a fair bet. I wouldn't bet against it.
G'day there, boys.
You haven't been talking to the cops, have you, mate?
You haven't been talking to the Jedi, have you, mate?
I would like to say that... hang on. What do you think about the aging?
I don't think it looks bad. I was bracing myself for a lot worse, really.
Yeah.
And then when I think it looks worse later in this franchise. And actually, in the very next movie we'll talk about, I think it looks worse.
Oh, God, that's next week.
Yeah. But this one, I genuinely don't think it's actually that bad. I was quite surprised at how decent it looked. And I think it works because it's a short scene as well. It's just one short scene at the beginning of the movie, less than 5 minutes. I've got no issues with it, to be honest, especially for the time. What is this, 2006 or whatever?
Yeah, 2006, yeah.
Yeah, quite impressive, I think.
I do too. I think it's definitely better when it's further away. Like, when it shows Patrick Stewart, I'm like, right, you lucked out here, because this is already an aesthetically pleasing, nice, big, round, bald-headed man.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Hard to go wrong here. And then when they make the wise decision of putting a cap or a hat on Eric for the most part, and then he takes it off and he's got, wow, he's got dark hair.
Whoa. And he's hot.
And he's hot. Whoa. But it's definitely better when it's further away. Like, when you see Eric come out the other side of the car, and he's a little bit out of focus, I'm like, wow, that's really fucking impressive stuff. Especially, like you say, for 2006, yeah.
And it's obviously, it's better when it's still, when it's in motion and then moving, and then you're like, oh, maybe not. But like, if it's a static shot, if it's them just stood there, then yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. It is important to note that we get our first. And look, I'm not going to jump into this in this movie because it's not this movie's sin. Okay. But this is 20 years prior to whatever year the first or the last X-Men X3 is set. And it's just important to note that we've got a Patrick Stewart-looking Professor X who is just freely walking about.
Yeah, yeah. Again, not this movie's fault. Not this.
No,
we cannot blame the sins of later movies on this. But the timeline is already broken enough at this point because we are, of course, introduced to our third actor to play Kitty Pryde.
Yes.
This time in a much more prominent role. We got Elliot Page as Kitty Pryde. Does a good job. Elliot kind of playing like the Bobby's new love interest, I guess.
Yeah, this is the thing. Again, I'm not particularly attached to these characters in the comics, but they've got to be more interesting than this fucking love triangle, right? Sure.
Yeah, well, Bobby's gay now, I think.
What, in the comics?
In the comics, Bobby's gay, yeah, but
okay.
that wasn't a thing at the time this came out, though. I think.
Was it like Bobby's writers? It was like a defiant stance against like, stop doing this to him in the fucking movies, man. Like, do you know what? He's gay. Fucking touch that. Why don't you?
No, I think it was like 10 years or so after this that happened. So it was quite a while But yeah, I think Bobby's gay. But yeah, not look. All of the relationships, they're like, yeah, just whatever, you know. It's like they're not exactly what they are in the comics, but like, sure, we have this weird love triangle, which is boring and uninteresting. And Bobby, what are you doing, man? Like,
yeah. Firstly, Bobby,
yeah.
like,
look, you're not cheating, but you know what you're doing, man. Like,
yeah, you
know, there's like, this is emotional cheating, right? Like, come on, man.
This is Bobby's work wife, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's weird because like
that ice skating scene. What are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, look, I respect you being a nice guy, but like come on, like we see this is an objectively romantic scenario that you've concocted here for your not girlfriend.
Yeah, especially because and how you know your girlfriend is feeling as well. We're struggling with feelings of not being able to be intimate and to touch you and this kind of stuff. You know. This is not going to go down well, brother.
Yeah, this is only going to make things 10 times worse for you.
Yeah.
Like, especially because you're walking around being like, hey, that's not fair. Have I ever pressured you into anything? And I'm like, well, no, but maybe that's because you're elsewhere.
Are they together in Days of Future Past? I think they are, aren't they?
Dude, fuck knows.
I think they are.
I know that Bobby gives Kitty a kind of a passing gaze at one point as they're like fighting the Sentinels in one of the scenes, and they're like looking at each other like, we might die.
We should probably say when it comes to Days of Future Past, we will be doing the Rogue cut. So
yes,
so there is more Rogue to come.
Which, fun fact, I don't think I've ever seen.
Well, there you go. It'd be fun. It'd be interesting.
Exciting stuff. But yeah, I think. While we're on it, I just think Rogue, like, it's having seen X-Men 97, and we'll try not to keep harping on about it, but it's hard because it's night and day interpretations. I don't know, it feels a bit just boring that, like, Rogue is, like, of all the, like, cool isolation stuff you could do with Rogue, and, like, how she's feeling kind of othered and outsided and all of this stuff. Like, but to make her sole motivation in this, I want to fundamentally change who I am as a person so I can kiss boys. It's like, come on, like we could go a bit deeper than this, couldn't we? It's very high school, which I get they're going for, but still.
Yeah, it's just not great, really. It's just all pretty bad, and I don't like it. But hey, but that being said, I quite like Elliot Page as Kitty Pryde. Do a good job. Colossus is kind of back as Colossus is back as Colossus. He's just there. I noticed as well. I was like, that dude has a receding hairline. Okay.
Yeah, come on.
And you're telling me this guy's like he's in little Professor X's little English class, being like, "Oh, children, let's learn about Arthur. Let's learn about King Arthur, children." And he's like, "Yes, Professor. I am a young student with my 6'7" body and my receding hairline." Okay.
And like again, we're always reminded as well that he's in the same class as president of the AV club, Remote Control Boy.
Yeah, no Remote Control Boy this week.
He shows up.
Oh, does he? Well, it's been like 4 weeks since I watched this movie, so I don't know.
No, he shows up because Professor X is doing his presentation in that class, and he goes like, whatever the kid's name is, let's call him Clive. He goes Clive, and Clive blinks and turns on the slideshow for him, and that's it.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. He's back, everyone.
Yeah. They'll keep failing him. They'll never let him leave because it's easier than just like wheeling over to the remote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know. I quite like that there is this kind of rift. Right, so it's revealed that like what Charles has done is essentially kind of build up little walls and bridges in Jean Grey's mind because she's very unstable and can't really control her powers.
So what they do is they basically take the Phoenix Saga and turn that into a split personality. Well, they take the Phoenix Force and turn that into a split personality within Jean. Like, she's so powerful, she developed an alter ego, which called itself the Phoenix. Okay.
And then told everyone so that everyone else could know as well.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, guys, when I got long hair, I'm Phoenix, just so you all know.
Yeah. So what Charles did to this mentally ill child was just fucked with their brain and just put a whole bunch of barriers in place to essentially close off a side of their personality. A side of their personality which, from what Charles was saying, could be quite angry and frustrated and about not being treated well and this kind of stuff. So naturally, the thing you'd want to do with that is obviously restrain it and lock it away and put it and completely isolate it. So
and then let it teach children.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's the thing you want to do. Yes. And then he's like, "No, I'm a good person, actually."
Yeah, why are you cross? What I did was cool.
Don't lecture me, Logan.
Yeah. But I kind of like that aspect of it. Like, we just spent the entire last movie realizing and understanding why Logan would be pretty fucked off about this kind of thing. Like, you don't do this to people.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it is, and I quite like that we're now seeing this part of Charles that is a bit more prickish and a bit more like kind of fucking high off his own hubris. And being like I'm an objectively good guy. He's giving lectures like where it's important that we don't use our powers in a way that is ethically and morally kind of wrong and not our place to do so. And then
he's given a class on is it ethical to do this thing, which I will do later in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, which I did 20 years ago, and I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
So it's strange, but I do like that Logan kind of has this. He's got his Jean Grey blinders on anyway. Like, he's gonna fucking go to the end of the earth for her. Like,
well, yeah. So yes, so Logan finds Jean, and then they bring her back to the mansion, and then Jean. Well, it's not Jean, it's the Phoenix, but Jean / the Phoenix is like so horny, like immediately. And then, like, Logan's like, yeah, I fuck with this. I love this, actually.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh, no, maybe I shouldn't love this. And then Jean's like, well, fuck you. I hate you, actually.
Yeah. Just positive messages to spew out to kids, by the way. Like,
yeah. But it's like a whole split personality thing. It's like, this is the Phoenix, not Jean. And then there is, like, moments of, like, Jean coming through and, like, not realizing where she is or what's going on and that kind of stuff. But it's all just, like... I don't know. Again, there's no other way to describe it other than just surface level, because they never really take the time to dive any sort of deeper into it. And I think, honestly, this is the problem with movie adaptations, because you have 2 hours to adapt a storyline which went on for years, okay? The Phoenix Saga went on for years, okay? Often described as one of the best sagas, one of the best stories in comics history altogether.
So good they did it twice.
So they did it twice, yeah, and both terms, great success.
Both of them definitely didn't single-handedly derail the franchise for years after.
No, this is totally fine. Look, I don't know, man. It's all just very. Let's touch on this, but not really explore it any deeper than that, really. You know?
Yeah. I think so. I watched this and I finished this, and I sometimes just write like a quick one sentence to sum up a general thought. So when I come to record these, I can look at that and go, oh yeah, that's exactly how I felt after the movie, and then it kind of leads me into like the conversation. And with this, I didn't really even know what to write. Like, I watched the movie and I'm like, I didn't have a bad time, but I didn't have a good one, and like it's something's missing from this, and I can't quite put my finger on what it is, because it's like
Scott.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, but like, I don't know. It feels hollow. It feels like characters are reading like I tell you what, it feels like. It feels like the table read of a good movie, where everyone's there and no one quite understands the vibe. So everyone's not really giving a great performance, with the exception of Kelsey Grammer, and like, kind of no one really knows what the tone is,
and the exception of Vinnie Jones as well.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't like. I was entertained. It's bad, but I was entertained.
Sure.
I just they actually saying that they I want to talk about the return of awful one-liners are back. We had a slight kind of break from it last week, but now one-liners are back and they're here to stay. There's 2 that are quite egregious. Do you have a guess as to what one of them is?
I'd imagine one of them is I'm the juggernaut bitch line.
well, then saying that, there's 3, because and then I'll tell you what, one is in the same scene.
But that was like a meme, though, wasn't it?
I think.
Yeah, it was like a meme, which was like referenced, sort of.
Oh, like a meme after the fact, or the movie was memeing?
No, the movie was memeing. No. It was a meme. It was an early meme. It was an early meme with Juggernaut from the X-Men animated series. There was like a weird early like lol gag or whatever fucking video of fucking which someone had dubbed over, and it's just the Juggernaut going, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." Yeah, just like it's an early one of those early old memes, which obviously these days would not ever become a thing, but because there was like 4 memes every 20 years back in the day, okay, you took what you could get, okay.
Yeah, the bold white I'm the Juggernaut, bitch, bottom text white.
That's what people don't understand. People look at old memes like fucking Charlie bit my finger and like David After Dennis, and like how did people you have to understand there was nothing else, okay?
It's barren out there, my dude.
It is not like today where you get 40 memes a fucking day, all right? Like, he was so lucky to come across a meme every year, all right? It was such a different time, okay?
Nathan, can I has cheeseburger, please?
I can has cheeseburger. I still think that slaps. I still think that's a good meme.
It's one of the better dated ones for sure.
Yeah.
It's the little cat man. He's excited.
He is. Was the other one Kitty's line? The whatever it is, like who's hiding or who's hiding? Well, whatever they say. But then dickhead is the real egregious dickhead after it.
Yeah, I think it's the delivery that makes this one, because it's you want to play hide and seek with me, and then Elliot Page comes back with who's hiding. Dickhead.
Yeah, very much has that energy of child who's never sworn before. Much like one of my favorite lines in the entire X-Men franchise, which comes much later on. In the remake of this movie, actually.
Yes, yeah.
But it's great.
When Cyclops stays up past bedtime and gets a bit hyper. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which we'll get to. But yeah, very much has the energy of child who's never sworn before, really.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And the last one is Eric moving the bridge and going, Charles always wanted to build bridges.
No, that slaps. I'm paying that. That one slaps, man.
Really?
that one hits. You don't think that one hits? And how good does that bridge moving sequence look? All right.
It looks amazing. It does look amazing, yeah.
It looks amazing, I thought. And yeah, I thought he's earned that. Let him have it, you know?
Okay, well, like he's suffered enough. Let him have his funny little.
Well, he just moved a fucking bridge. I think he deserves a little pun as a little reward. You know?
Is that the most impressive thing he's done so far? Has to be, right?
The truck flip was pretty cool.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. But that is easily the most impressive thing he's done. Would not work, practically speaking. That would immediately collapse. There's a reason suspension bridges have those big legs going all the way down into the water. Okay, would immediately collapse. But sure.
You ever drive on a bridge and you look how many wires are on either side of you, and you go like, "Oh, my life is in someone's hands here."
It's a movie. It's the movie bridge. It's the movie it's the bridge that's always destroyed in the movies.
Yes, same bridge that was destroyed in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I think.
You're thinking of Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Yes, you are thinking of the right one. But it wasn't destroyed. It was just used as the scene of a battleground.
Oh, I see. It was liberated.
Yes. It was liberated.
Yeah, which is also not the right word, but yeah.
By ape kind.
Yes, good on them. I tell you what, I really, speaking of like good visual effects, I quite like the grey house fight sequence where Charles gets the ultimate Professor Xing.
Yes, yeah, the slow-mo bit in particular, just before he explodes, I think looks fucking amazing, I think.
Yeah, he pops like a fucking balloon.
He does pop like a balloon, yeah. Yeah, no, it looks great. There's like running water, and it's like flying upwards, and there's fucking like debris swirling all around, and the house being lifted up into the air and everything, and then the kind of like almost alien look that Jean has, you know, when the veins all come across and her eyes darken and stuff. It's very unsettling. And then the way Charles just like turns his head to Logan is like, "Logan, I'm about to die," and then just blows up.
I have a theory that why his face kind of twists into that kind of smile is because at that point he is supposedly transferring his consciousness into a comatose man who looks exactly like him or something.
But this is he doesn't look anything like it. So I've heard this. Yeah. I've heard people say it's his brother, but that's never once mentioned. Okay.
Yeah.
Because first of all, Juggernaut's his brother, but that's also never mentioned. Second of all, like it doesn't look like him. Like at no point are they like, oh, this guy is your twin or whatever. I guess you would say from what happens in later movies, and he obviously looks like him, but again, we cannot blame the sins of later movies for this.
No, we can't. There is a theory that is his brother. You're right, but then the theory goes and it expands in Charles is projecting his appearance to everyone's mind, but like, no, he's not.
I could buy that.
You going with that?
I can buy it. I think it's dumb, but I can buy it. I can buy it as a hand-wavy explanation as to why it's Charles again, you know?
Okay, all right, fair enough. Then let's go with it. Let's just accept the explanation we were never given.
The universe, the timeline's already so fucking broken, all right? We don't need to make sense of it. It's already fucked, okay?
That's true.
It's just another casualty of the fucking timeline, all right? We don't need to try fix it.
But I do like that in that fight, like you've got there are some objectively stupid moments. Juggernaut's one instruction is don't let anyone in the house, and then he throws Wolverine into the house upon their first contact.
Pretty cool.
It's a good fight. He's like throwing him in a ceiling, and then he falls out the ceiling in the other room, and I'm like, that's just good stunt work. That's
pretty cool. Yeah, Cowboy Switch, I believe they call that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't know what other like 6'4" man they got to throw up into the ceiling, but yeah,
stunt double.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But not just there are good things in this movie. There are things to like, but it's like it's all in place of like, God, there's very rarely an opportunity where I'd say I want a movie to be longer, but like an extra half an hour of this could have transformed this into something quite good.
Nah. It's already lost, you know? I don't think half an hour's fixing this. I think it is what it is. Just get me out of here as soon as possible, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this was... Once the decision was made to kill off Scott, and the Phoenix was a split personality, and the cure is just inconsequential, then, like, you know, it's a lost cause at that point.
But maybe with another half an hour, Scott could have come back and gone, I'm also not dead. Again.
I mean, wouldn't surprise me.
No.
All right, who else have we got in this movie? Who else shows up? We have Angel as Angel.
Yeah, like that intro of him, like, essentially, it's very evocative of, like, self-harming in the bathroom from your parent who doesn't understand you. Because it literally is
self-harm, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but, like, it's quite unflinching in what it shows. Like, it's pretty kind of, like, if I was a kid that was, like, struggling and I watched this, I'd be a bit like, oh, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's fun. He has his own little very mini arc. He shows up 3 times in the movie. One is a kid. One is his dad. Like, see, let's get these wings off you. And he's like, actually, no. And then he saves his Republican dad's life. Probably, I get you're having your personal moment, but like L for your mutant kind here, mate. Like, that was gonna happen. You could have just hung back and gone, oh no.
His dad didn't need to die though, did he?
He's trying to genocide cunts, isn't he?
He did develop the mutant cure, yes, okay, but, you know.
I do. I mean, everyone, when they get an inch of power, even the president, is like, he's like all buddy-buddy with Hank McCoy, and then, like, Hank leaves, and he's like, you put this in guns yet? You should probably put this in some guns.
Yeah. So there's the Eric's Brotherhood of Mutants, so we get a lot of just generic cunts, really. There's, there's a little porcupine man who's a little porcupine.
Genuinely useless, like,
so unless he can literally hug the person he's going to attack, genuinely useless.
And I thought to myself, maybe it's like a defensive thing, like maybe if someone went to punch him, right, like they're gonna stab their hand so they won't punch him. But then I thought about all the mutants that can blast this cunt into smithereens from a distance.
yeah 100%. Cyclops versus this guy, it's over, you know, it's over.
Yeah, exactly, it's fucked.
What is he gonna do against Cyclops, you know? Dead.
Saying that, this week I played a little bit of Fortnite here and there, and I bought the Cyclops skin, and it's weird playing him with a gun.
I spent way too much money on Fortnite skins this week. Money I don't have, and I just went, "What if I buy this Cyclops skin?"
Ugh. Yeah, it's a good skin, man. He's got a little emote.
Yeah, the laser beam emote. Yeah, I got it too. Fuck's sake.
Yeah. It is weird playing Scott running around just mowing cunts with a gun.
yeah. I only played one game, and then I got killed, and then I was like, oh yeah, and I stopped.
And this is why I take periodic breaks from Fortnite for my own mental health.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So yes, we got little porcupine boy. We got girl who is fast and also has a Wikipedia entry on mutants in her head or whatever. This is the movie where they introduce class systems in mutants as well. They're like, oh, by the way, I'm a class 5 mutant. And you're like, where the fuck was this before? All right,
yeah.
Where was this? Where was this categorization of all these mutants? You know,
and it's
just
funny
showed up out of nowhere.
It is funny because they base it on like the power level, but like if Jean is a class 5 but Charles is not, because Eric says he's never met another class 5, I'm like, Charles could comatose everyone on the planet at the same time if he wanted to. Like, that's fucking level 6, if anything.
No, he can't though, can he?
All right, but he could go around doing it slowly, and that's bad enough.
he's a class 4.
Okay,
he's powerful, but he's not class. She can pop people with her mind.
I guess, yeah. All right, fair enough. Jean can stay a class 5.
Okay, great. I did like the moment where in the Brotherhood scene, like one of them says to Eric, like, oh, if you're so proud of being a mutant, where's your mark? And he just shows them his fucking identity tattoo from Auschwitz. And he's like, I assure you, young lady, a needle once touched my skin and it shall never happen again, or whatever the fuck he says. And I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair, man. That is fair.
Yeah. Ian McKellen every now and again has a scene that reminds you, like, oh, this franchise is fucking so lucky he's agreed to be in these. Like, because he's the linchpin of this. I don't think this works without him, quite honestly.
Well, I will say we've had 2 actors play them, and I think both have done a great job. I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But like, I don't even think you get Fassbender's great job without McKellen's great job.
No, of course,
it's based on a lot of that.
Of course, he set the foundations. He built the character. Well, not really, but like this interpretation of it and stuff.
I think he definitely modernized and popularized it more so.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk now about like what are you gonna do with Magneto going forward? Because like, yes, because of the origin of the character, and does that work in a modern 2020 setting or whatever? Because that dude would be 100, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like, how do you do it? I think the easy answer is just to say, yeah, he's a mutant, and the part of that is he ages slower, you know? I think you just say that, really.
I think that works, because it's so fundamentally important, and you can't really...
You can't do the character without that, really, I don't think.
Yeah, and you can't swap it out for, like, a vague off-screen tragedy.
Yeah, Vietnam or whatever, because like that's what they did in not X-Men 97, but X-Men the animated series of the version that came before. That's kind of what it is. I think because for like at the time, like just weird laws around child TV, they just couldn't like say Nazis or whatever. They couldn't actually depict that. So they was all just quite vague about it. It was all like, the enemy took over my people's home and all this kind of stuff. And it was all very vague and stuff. And like you saw when you saw like the soldiers, they were clearly not Nazis or anything like that. It was just like vague, just generic soldiers and stuff. X-Men 97 kind of did away with that for the better. But yeah, it's just something that you can't do just a generic version or whatever, because it's just not the same. It just doesn't have that same real world impact that probably arguably the most tragic thing to ever happen in human history, okay, is like it's impactful, it's meaningful, and I think to lose that would be a disservice.
The very backstory of the character, like, it commands respect just because it's immediately interesting. And if you don't sympathize with it, then like you're already less than human anyway. Like, I don't know. Like, it's one of them things that it immediately commands a bit of respect, and also adds validity to his arguments, because like, yeah, real world history has informed that like when bigotry goes too far, it escalates to absurdity levels, and a lot of people, you know, get hurt and lose lives. Like, it's I think you can't it's like you say, a disservice to the character to try and do it without, or to kind of infantilize it and make it a bit more like vague and ominous, like, oh, another tragedy happened, and that feels exploitive almost. Just slow them down, just slower, that's fine, you know. And it'd be like 300 or whatever, no one cares. I promise you it'd be way worse if you tried to do something different.
It's true. Who else we got? We got big fat man who turns into a little skinny man when he sits down.
Yeah, great. I mean, like, in terms of like comfort. I guess that's handy, but like,
why be the big fat man in the first place?
Yeah, this is kind of what I was getting at. Like, I don't really understand like why you would. Like, maybe it's like short bursts or something.
Maybe, I don't know.
But then you'd constantly be like, "Oh, sit down." Like, my power only lasts for 2 hours. I'm going to the cinema. Like, right, ads and trailers and stuff. Like, am I going to just turn into a big fat man?
Is clothes also turn smaller?
They've got the Fantastic Four thing, where you just the suits just work with whatever.
Okay, sure.
Just look, it's just too complex.
We got Mystique, but then she gets killed. She doesn't get killed. She gets cured. She gets her abilities taken away from her.
I fucking hate how this movie does Mystique.
Yeah.
I've been harping on the last 2 episodes of the podcast saying Mystique is like one of the most interesting mutants in this entire kind of franchise. And I think the movie starts really well. Like she's like, I'm not answering to my slave name, and like the president has like single-handedly put together a round table being like, Mystique keeps fucking embarrassing us because she sneaks in here pretending to be one of us and does some stuff. Like, and it's embarrassing. And she's like mocking her interrogators. She's threatening to murder people while taking the form of a little girl. And like she even sacrifices her powers, takes the dark cure for Eric to because she knows that he's the mouthpiece of this, and she's the one that he's the one that people were backing. And then getting abandoned for it, yes, while tragic for Mystique's motivations, they go, like, and then at the end she's like giving away all the Brotherhood's secrets to the government, and they're like, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I'm like, that feels kind of sexist. Like, this is her life's goal.
Well, yeah, it's written by your best friend Brett Ratner. Okay.
When he's helping me move, I'll have a go at him about this tomorrow.
Okay.
But no, I don't know. It really just goes like, Eric did her wrong, so she, you know what women are like when bloody men do them wrong. She'll sell all your secrets to the government, and I'm like, no, this was her crusade as well. It just shows that Magneto is fickle, which makes him a more interesting villain. But that doesn't mean she just decides to betray her entire moral code for this.
Does she sell him out though, or is it in a sneaky way part of the plan? Because the information she gives them doesn't lead to anything. It leads to them finding Multiple Man, who's like, hey, I'm a whole bunch of people, but I'm just one guy, or whatever, you know?
I guess, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Maybe.
Also, people are traveling way too quick in this movie, okay? Kurt's not here, all right? You can't just teleport anymore. But for some reason, okay, Wolverine is able to go from the X-Mansion, which is in New York, to the California Redwoods, okay, which is literally on the other side of the country, and then is able to go back to the mansion just within the same day. How are you doing this, brother? Okay? What are you doing?
He's got that jet, isn't he? But he didn't take it.
He didn't take the jet, Lawrence. And he can't fly. He hates flying. We know this.
It does. Look, you can't underestimate the sheer determination of a really horny man with a motorbike. All right, he's just breaking all the laws. He's breaking all of his bones. He probably died 8 times on the road just by driving off mountains.
Sorry, I forgot. He's got Scott's collection of Nosfields and motorbikes, where he just presses the big red button.
Very Fast and Furious, like like just oh no, I'm gonna lose the race. No, you're not. I'm gonna press the NOS button.
Good for you.
Yeah, I want to talk about the final battle a little bit, because I think
generic.
Yes, but it's filled with good ideas. But then when we cut back to the main battle, it's always like, this is just a soup, isn't it? This is just too many people firing too many nondescript lasers and shit, and most of it's just fist fighting.
What are the good ideas?
I like the X-Men are outnumbered, so they're all playing to their strengths. Like fucking Storm is casting like a fog over everything so that they can get in and fight dirty. And like they're using their powers creatively, and you've got like the grunts, like not Cyclops. He's dead.
No, he's dead. Yeah.
You've got what's the big metal cunt called? What's his name?
Colossus.
You've got Colossus, Wolverine, and Beast just ripping through people because like they're the brutes of the gang. And then you've got.
I did like when Beast put on. So first of all, Beast has the best X-Men uniform. Okay,
right? Yeah,
Beast has the best X-Men uniform, and I like when he puts it on. It's like, hard to believe this once fit me. It's so good. He's good. I love him.
He is good. But yeah, and then you've got Kitty. Like, obviously, would be the person you send in to like get the kid, because like the speed on Kitty being able to run through a million fucking walls, like it just makes sense. And then I don't know. I tell you what, like while it's Vinnie Jones and it is funny, there's a specific shot of Juggernaut where he just fucking mows through like 10 cunts like bowling pins. And he just runs through them and they all get thrown into various directions and it's just funny. Like, it is good.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, I tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like Pyro and Iceman having a Harry Potter duel.
See, this is the part I liked.
Oh, really?
And you can't say this was before Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, I guess it is actually, I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, you can't say that.
All right, fine. Yeah, hang on. When did the one where Voldemort came back come out?
Which one was that?
It's definitely after 2006 anyway. I know I'm wrong. Goblet of Fire is the one where Voldemort comes back and he's like, I'm a potion man.
Goblet of Fire was 2005.
Was it? 2005. Okay, I win.
But November 2005, if I remember correctly. And this was like May 2006.
There's enough time. Look, it's still after.
No. The movie's
this
already
is how
shot,
Fox
man.
are doing it, man. They're cutting it on the fly. They're going in, they're changing shit.
Yeah,
right?
now. Not fucking... Well, they don't exist now. Not then.
Why'd you like it then? I like their rivalry, but I think the power fight is a bit fucking lame.
No, I like it. Bobby turns into the Ice Man. Turns into a big ice boy.
Has he not done that yet?
No, this is the first time. You have to earn it, Lawrence.
Okay. I thought he'd done it. I thought he'd like...
No, we hadn't seen that.
Well, good on him then, turning into the Iceman. Wolverine kills Jean.
Wolverine kills Jean. Yeah, we kind of just glossed over all that, yeah.
Yeah, but then the movies did as well.
Yeah. So Wolverine has to kill the love of his life, apparently. And whatever. I kind of like him like going up to her and him being like, he is the only one that can do it, which sure, that makes sense. And it looks pretty cool when like his skin's coming off and you can see, flashes of the adamantium skeleton and stuff and everything like that. It does look pretty cool. But again, it's this just whole, the greatest tragedy is the love of my life, and I have to sacrifice you for the greater good. But you are the love of my life, and we love each other. And like, mate, she barely knows your name, man. Come on, like, come on.
My big beef with this is that it's the exact same ending as the first X-Men. Wolverine is the only one to stop something because he can't die. Like, it's just, I don't know, it just feels a little late. Like you say, presentation wise, kind of cool. I like you say, the adamantium skeleton. Parts of his skin frantically falling off and then being kind of respawned on him. Like, it looks cool, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit dumb. It's just a bit boring. Like, it just
this whole thing is Wolverine's franchise, mate. Okay.
Yeah,
he's the money maker. Okay?
But it hinges on me caring about this love relationship. Yeah, and I really don't.
I know, and I don't either. And because of also they've done nothing to make me care about it as well.
Yeah,
it's all just been just the most just shit. Gina's hardly shown any amount of interest in him other than like one fleeting moment at the end of the first movie. Other than that, it's been like, stay away from me. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Maybe it feels like it. Maybe they like kind of try to sell it as more because you've got in the second one, you've got Mystique sexually assaulting him, and maybe they'll vaguely remember that they might have kissed last movie. Who knows?
Didn't know.
Yeah, they didn't. It wasn't them. Yeah, I don't know. Look.
Oh wait, no, they did. They did actually kiss. Actually,
did they kiss?
Yeah, they did kiss. Yeah, they did kiss. They kissed in the last movie.
When did they kiss?
They kissed before Mystique sexually assaulted Wolverine.
Oh, and then because she was like, she saw it and then was like, get a load of this.
She was watching them. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. X-Strip.
More of the same. Again, the only good update is Kelsey Grammer's Beast costume, but
yeah.
Other than that, just more of the same.
I put down before he dies, which is again extremely soon into the movie. Cyclops is sporting more of an angsty hairdo and a stubble combination, which I think looks quite good.
Does look quite cool. Yeah.
I just like his attitude when you see him. He's like, his gene has died. He's taking it really fucking hard. He's not showing up for class. And like,
do you remember when Logan's like, "Hey, maybe it's time for us to move on, brother? Who's this us, mate? You are not on the same level. Stop this, okay? My God."
Yeah, so two people that grew up together, fell in love, and got married, like very much committed their lives to each other. And Wolverine's like, I showed up last week and she was fit, so like I'm gutted and all.
Fucking hell, Logan. No wonder he hates you.
Yeah, he's very hateable, isn't he? I like Phoenix's burgundy hair and the weird robe thing that she kind of gets. That's quite cool.
I hate the corset she's wearing. It stands out so much. It just looks awful.
But I like it's kind of like a trench coaty type situation.
I like the trench coat, yeah, but the corset she's wearing underneath it, I don't like it. Just put her in like a fucking, I don't know, just anything else. But I don't like the corset.
It's got to be sexy, weird. Nathan. You know the time.
No, it doesn't have to be sexy. I think it can be sexy. I think it'd probably be sexier without the corset. Really.
Yeah. It's also not really a sexy corset. It's just a corset.
It's just a corset. I don't know. What else? Sentinels at the beginning of the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Looks good. Genuinely good interpretation of the Sentinel design, I think. Sure, it's just in the danger room, whatever. It's like, which implies that's already happened in this universe. Which I guess it has technically, because this is technically supposed to be after Days of Future Past, but
they don't know that though.
They don't know that, no. But also the Sentinels didn't look like that. But all right, but whatever. Anyway,
yeah, they look way worse.
Yeah, they did.
Isn't it funny that when they do a throwaway kind of gag like this, they go like, just make them easily identifiable as the Sentinels. But then when they make a movie like Days of Future Past, they go, all right, we're really making a design now, so I guess we've got to, like, I don't know, make it worse. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
You nailed this 10 years ago. Come on.
Shit, yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that. What else?
Wolverine's hair and chops is greatly improved in this movie, I think.
Wolverine's hair and chops is greatly improved, yes. It does continue the tradition of making Wolverine's iconic costume in these movies just a fucking tank top.
Yep.
Yeah. Because that's his iconic costume throughout these movies for the most part. So
why?
I don't know, but that's what it is. Just a pair of jeans and a tank top, and that's it. He's good to go.
If he was like a particularly hairy man with like big hairy arms and very animalistic, I'd get it. But like, if it's not his chest, they fucking shave this man like a fish. Like he looks weird. I do like his hair and chops in this though, because I think it's like they finally found a healthy middle ground between being super glued and not. And still looking natural. Yeah.
It's of the three we've had so far, it's definitely the best look.
Yeah.
For Logan, it's less like just what the fuck are you doing? You know, it's
still by far and away not a good look. I don't think.
No, it's not. It's not. But it's the best we've had so far.
Yeah.
So
if they're sticking to this, then I appreciate they're at least doing it better now.
Yeah. So that's something at least. What else have we got?
I got some little things.
Is there any more for X-Trip?
No. Like you say, largely unchanged, really.
Yeah, mostly just the same and boring. Here's my first little thing. Moira Taggart, one of them.
Yep.
She's here, kind of.
She's here, and her age doesn't make sense, but that's fine.
Again, that's the sins of later movies, Lawrence.
I guess. I know. All right, I need to rein it in. I will say, all right, this is another little thing, but it's also...
Oh, sorry, go on. No, you.
This is another little thing that is definitely a sin of a later movie, but I'm trying to...
This might be my next little thing as well.
Trask looks different. I remember him looking a bit more...
This is my next little thing. Yes, Trask, completely different in a number of ways.
Yeah. I'd say there's two distinguishing things that are probably quite evident to most people,
Yeah, but there we go.
I do like that he's very obviously an underexplored character. Like, he's Trask in name only, because the president is like, what do you want to do about this? And Chasky's like, just fucking genocide, dude. Let's do it. Let's kill him.
Sure. Why not?
And I've the last little thing. Oh, sorry. Do you have any little things as well?
Any more little things? No.
Okay. My last little thing then says, I love how much of an inconvenience Magneto's powers are to the army. Every single time Magneto breaks out, they need to issue an entire new arsenal of plastic weapons. Yeah. It's just extremely funny that, like, millions are probably spent on this one specific mutant. So whenever they, like, lose track of him, they're like, fuck's sake.
It was pretty funny when, like, when, like, they show up for the first time and he's like, humans with their silly little guns, how they never learn. And then he's like, oh, plastic. So they're carnivore. Which is quite funny. Yeah. I guess my last thing is just this whole movie was inconsequential because he's got his powers back at the end. So there we go.
Yeah, nothing matters. Well, famously, nothing matters in this movie. Everyone that's dead is mostly not dead anymore, apart from... Yeah. Oh, no, but then... like, yeah, okay.
No, because anyone you think is dead, they will come back in the later movie. So yeah. And look, maybe that's just the state of the cinema we're in, right? Maybe that's just what it is. Anyway, I do kind of like the ending, though. I do kind of like the subtle movement of the chess piece and then the cut to credits. If it came out 1 year later, it would have been Linkin Park's What I've Done.
It really would have been, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it because he doesn't deserve it, man. Like, I know he's a terrorist, but, like, he's a terrorist for good reasons. Like, he gets radicalized by the military doing dumb, horrific things to his people. Like, it's not... And, you know, obviously there's some residual hatred left over from his experiences and stuff, but it's still... I like that he gets his powers back. It's the last laugh. It's the final, like, you can't fucking stop me, you bitches, with your stupid cure. Yeah, I think it's cute. I think it's very cool. Yeah, that's me done in it. X3. Not much else to say, I don't think.
Nah, yeah, that's me done too.
In that case, what we do at this point in the show is we recommend some stuff to each other and to our lovely, lovely loyal listeners. Could be a movie, could be a book, could be... Have I ever said a book before?
Probably your Succession book that you've never read.
Oh, yes. I've read my Succession books. It's the Oppenheimer one I didn't finish. You teased me about that one.
You probably recommended that one as well then at some point.
At some point, yeah. So it could be a movie, it could be a telly show, it could be a book, it could be something you've watched, read, listened to, experienced, anything you've done in the past week that you would love to share. Do you want to go first? Shall I go first?
I want you to go first.
All right, it's very simple this week. I have not had much of a chance to be watching stuff, so I have been listening to a whole bunch of stuff. And one of the things that's kept me motivated while packing is the album Bratz by Charlie XCX.
Oh, I've heard about this.
I saw on Twitter you were having your Bratz summer, or you discovered a Bratz summer or something.
I don't know what that is.
I think you do. I think you do know what a Bratz summer is.
To be honest, I don't. I just see people talking about it. I don't really know what it is.
I don't know what it is either. I just know it's like an attitude. It's a state of mind. I'm having my Bratz summer.
Okay.
I don't know what it means, but that's most of the internet. But look, I wrote it down because it's a great album to pack up your house to. It's very motivating. It's very upbeat, poppy, and fun. It feels very 90s.
What if I'm not packing up my house? Can I still listen to it?
No.
Okay. No. Guess I'll never know.
You have to wait.
Right.
You can't check. And that goes for everyone listening as well. If you're not packing up your house, you have to wait for this one. What are you recommending?
I'm going to recommend a podcast called Confessions, hosted by Sam Peterson, an Australian comedian, hilarious comedian.
I think I've listened to a few of these.
Yeah, you might have. It's a good stuff. It's a good podcast. Basically, the premise is Sam Peterson, he gets a few comedians to join him, and they just basically look through some Reddit confessions and just go through them, try to help the person solve the problem. It's always a good bit of fun. There's some fucking ridiculous and hilarious stories. There's always at least one which involves someone shitting somewhere they shouldn't have. Like, I shat in my co-worker's like office or whatever or something like that, and it's always good fun. Lots of ones about like people thinking they're fucking ghosts and stuff. It's good fun. It's great. It's a really fun podcast. I love it quite a lot. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, and Sam Peterson has just such a fucking quick wit about him. So just hilarious, quick wit, which is really good. James has done a few episodes here and there. Jess Perkins from Do Go On done some as well. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I think that's the one I listened to. I listened to them. I listened to the one where James and Jess were both on it together, I think. Great. It is a really good podcast. I tell you what, just while we're talking podcasts, I listened to Do Go On's episode on Doctor Who. Maybe this is more for our other podcast.
That Michelle Brazier did.
Yeah, genuinely, like, parts of it very frustrating as a Doctor Who fan, and other parts I'm like, I get this. This is stupid.
Yeah. Well, fun. I had fun with it.
It is indeed. That being said, thank you everyone for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, please feel free to leave us a little 5-star review. That'd be very cool, much appreciated. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Another Happy Pod, where you can suggest a topic for us to check out. Be sure to join us next week, because next week we are going to be continuing X-Mania with a bit of this.
You even know how to kill me. I'm going to cut your head off. See if that works.
And if you feel so inclined, we have a Ko-Fi link in the show notes if you want to help us out with the running of both of these shows. Zero pressure. Everyone is always still available to enjoy these shows for free forever. And speaking of both shows, Nathan, we have another podcast, don't we?
Yeah, we do. It's called Still Got Legs. It's our Doctor Who rewatch podcast, where every week we watch and discuss an episode of Doctor Who. We're coming up to the end of Series 6 now. Just a few episodes left to go. And we're having a bloody good time. So join us for that, or I'll kill you.
Join us for that, or Nathan will kill you, and then
with my mutant powers.
Oh goodness! Not if I.
What's your mutant powers?
I feel like I'd get really mundane powers, like the TV remote shit.
But what would you want, though?
What would I want? I'm not in many scenarios where I need to do any Oculus blasting. I would like teleportation. That's sick, I think.
Teleportation's my go-to, but specifically not Nightcrawler, not Kurt. Is her name Blink? I think her name's Blink from Days of Future Past.
Oh, the portal one.
The portal one, yeah.
Yeah, see what you're walking into.
Yeah, exactly. Much better, yeah.
Like, could be traffic, could be landing right in front of a truck.
Exactly, you know. But, yeah, anything that can get me somewhere far away quickly, I'll take that.
I would like to add on to teleportation. When I teleport, I would like to lose the amount of calories I would have lost if I'd walked there.
Yes, and also I'm really hot and handsome.
Yeah, that's just part of it.
Yeah, and I can't die.
It does come with being blue, though. Could you handle it?
Yeah, I'll be blue. Why not?
I'd take being sexy and blue. Yeah,
that's a conversation starter at least. So you're blue. Yeah.
It's true. Yeah. Thank you for noticing. I work hard on this. Thank you very much for listening. We will see you next Friday at 10 a.m. Stay cool, stay sexy. What should the people stay, Nathan?
Why don't you do this? What is this?
I like giving you a little opportunity to say something.
Well, I don't know. Stay whatever they want to stay. I don't know what they should stay. Okay?
All right.
They should stay away from fires. That's what they should do. Okay?
And
Brett Ratner. He'll get you once he's helped Lawrence move house.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.